Oh, every time I get down here, what's the date? It's the 18th. That's the 18th. Good afternoon, midnight time, man. Patrick. And I was actually going to make a different video today, a slightly different video today. However, I sat in my corner and I looked at the YouTube homepage, which I'm attempting to spend less time on, and there was a video that was just there. And now I have mentioned Morgue Official recently, and further into what I'm saying is a few months ago, over a period of time, over the period of the last 6 months, I have occasionally mentioned Morgue Official. On the YouTube homepage, there's a video called Hyperians, ex-Hyperians speak out against the cult. That's it there. That's what I was talking about. And Corey, Morgue Official's face is at the front of the video. It says exposed, and I'm like, because now I tuned into his channel, and just the other day, really only just the other day, I said to myself, you know, I could stop watching this guy. I haven't seen one of his videos in about 2 weeks. It's been about 2 weeks since I watched one of his videos, and I thought, and not every title of his videos attracts my attention. But sometimes they do attract my attention, and so what happens? What happens is I've just started watching this documentary because there's a few things to say, and I can only say one thing at a time. So what happens is that I will start watching a Morgue Official video. Corey, I didn't even know his name was Corey. Morgue Official, right? I've got some lumps down here. Trying to ignore them. I am recording, aren't I? Let's quickly check. Oh yep, I'm recording. Very good. Thank you for your patience. I'll start to watch a Morgue Official video. I'll start to watch it, and then within about the first 10 minutes, I'll start getting sleepy. And I'll usually sleep through about 20 minutes of it, 25 minutes of it, and I'll wake up at the end and I'm like, oh, I slept through it. I'll still be listening. I'm listening. Some of the concepts that he speaks of are a bit over my head. It's usually an inversion of Christianity themes. And I'm not a Christian anymore. However, the things that he talks about, I find them to be interesting, and some of the other things he talks about, I don't understand them. Trying to lend understanding to them, but I understand them. And also, at the very same time, which is what I want to talk about today, at the very same time, you know, what attracts me to his channel? And I'll be honest, he has a certain tone to his voice which draws me in. I mean, he looks like a Californian beach guy when he looks, and he's majestic with his hair and everything. It's the tone of his voice, and yet I'm always thinking to myself, how cultish are you? Like, how cultish is this Morgue guy, Corey guy? I'm like, are you like 2 steps away from being this weird cult leader? And I'm like, you know what? I'm always thinking that, and I'm always thinking about the people who are in the super chat area, the people who give the super chats. Like, they pay a certain amount of money, and the higher the amount, I've noticed, the higher the amount of money they pay, that more will say, well, wow, you just donated such and such, just gave me $100. I really appreciate it. And you know what? I'm going to get my blackboard. I'm going to get my whiteboard. And what pen, what ink should I choose? Green. So I'm going to write your name on this whiteboard in green. Do you feel special now? And he's like, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. So there's all these people in the super chat area which are giving him money. And I think that's a bit of a red flag. I'm like, how much money are these people giving you? And what Morgue does is he will take a verse. He'll say, Now, I'm going to talk about this particular subject, how Satan, or Lucifer is, one of his videos is Jesus is actually Lucifer. And so he'll say, look, I'm going to read this particular passage about this particular thing, and he'll read it. And he'll say, look, you know, the entire book is available. You can actually read it, but I'm going to read. He'll read 2 passages from it. He'll read for 2 minutes, and he'll say, it goes on to this, and he'll say, blah, 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 and then he will give you his very own interpretation. And there's anything wrong with that. There isn't anything wrong with that. He'll give you his own interpretation. Well, what he does, he spends all of his time telling you what he thinks of that passage and rewording it for himself. And what I'll notice is the amount of people who are giving him super chats. They're giving him a lot of money, And I keep saying to myself recently, you know, I don't really, am I hooked on Morgue Official? No, not by any means. In fact, as I said, coming up to about 14 days now, I haven't seen one of his videos, and I was thinking, you know, I can, you know, just give him a rest for a while, because I've got other things to do, my goals to get done. But I do see how there's people out there who would be very gullible to what he's doing, because whenever he's in his videos, a whole bunch of people in the chat, I keep pointing that way, because I'm confused here. The chat area, the super chat area, giving him a lot of money. They're giving him heaps of money. A lot of money. Heaps of money. And I'm like, right. I always think gullible people. I always think that when I see that happening, I'm like, people are being gullible. And I don't think there's, okay, to fund a YouTube channel, that's an okay thing. It's an okay thing, but you want that content to be rich and in. A lot of people fund YouTube channels which are not significant. That just hauling in the money. Give me the money. You know, I'll look all pretty for you. I'll look all pretty for you, and you give me all your money. And so it's called Exposed, because I had been curious about what some of the people are like who are in the super chat, who are supporting this guy. And so I started watching this documentary today. It's called Exposed. Hyperian is, and Morgue Official, he has mentioned the word Hyperianism a few times. It goes over my head, don't really know what it's about. Just thought the way that he speaks about particular things is kind of interesting. And then every time I'm watching one of his videos, I'm thinking I could be doing other things. I could be doing other things, like literally other things, which is why I haven't watched one of his videos for a while. So watching this documentary today, and I'm halfway through it, I thought, I'm going to come downstairs and film. Mainly because I have mentioned him in a few of my videos, and it's like, and it's like, am I following a cult leader? No, I'm not following a cult leader. I tune into his videos. I tend to fall asleep during them, and thinking I could be doing other things. So there's people who have invested up to 5 years of their time into following this guy, and they talk about it thoroughly, and that they go into it, and because I've always sort of, Morgue Official doesn't reveal a lot about himself, and I've always been curious as to, you know, what's going on behind the scenes, what's ticking here, and it's really good to hear from these other people who did support Morgue previously, and see what they've got to say about things. It's a real eye opener, and because Morgue has a particular tone of voice, and it kind of keeps you there. And I think he looks like half of a California beachy guy. I was going to say beach bum. That's not good. Beach guy, right? and it's I'm glad that I'm watching this video today, because Morgue official, he'll put up a video and it'll be a title, and I'll be like, I'm not all the way interested in that, I'm not really interested in that, and he'll put up another video, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm not entirely interested in that one, might give that a pass. But then he'll put up a video saying, who was the true Christ, or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of interested in that. But the thing is, he'll read from a passage, he'll add his own, not that there's anything wrong with that, you can add your own, but many of the things that he says sort of go a bit on me. I'm like, this is becoming what you're luring people in. People are lured in, and you know, he has a certain haircut, and I think people are lured in by him, and I think it's mainly to do with the tone of his voice, actually, which I end up going into a sleep. But yes, the whole Triugas, in my books, I think he's already won. And on the side, it's there's people to be wary of. You want to really sort of, you know, measure it and weigh it up, measure it up for yourself. And I haven't spent, want to spend less. In fact, I think last year, didn't watch Morgue Official for a few months when I was away from YouTube. I felt so much better about it. So, that's what I was going to say. Do I take Morgue Official seriously? I take him with a grain of salt. The things that he says, I'm like, I'm not sure about that. That's interesting. I'm taking you with a grain of salt on every sentence. Why am I here? I don't know. Something about his tone of voice. And then I'm like, wow, who's following you? Like, what followers do you have? Who's giving you money? And this documentary, Exposed, actually gives a pretty good insight from a few people about what's going on. And so I thought, I'm going to come downstairs and make this video, because I mention him semi-regularly. And so that's what's going on. That's what's going on. There's a difference between your cult leaders, you've got influencers, and you've got some people. There's some people who get very depressed in their lives. I've gone through depression. I had a bit of depression recently. People who don't have too much going on in their lives, perhaps they don't have goals, or ambitions. And what happens is, a person like Morgue, they watch his videos, and they're like, oh yeah, that's different. That's really different. That's challenge. You know, that's different. It's giving me a new perspective on it. I don't think I would have thought about things from that particular perspective. And there's something appealing about that to them. They don't have too much more going on in their lives, and so they tune into this guy, and he speaks, and if you give him money, if you give him enough money, if you throw him enough money, he'll answer your super chat, and he'll get his blue biro or his green biro, and he'll write their name on the board, and he'll like, you just gave me $150. Your name gets put on the board. Do you feel special? I always get wary. I'm always wary of that stuff. I'm always like, what's going on here? What's going on? What is this? But I see right through it. I'm like, you get, you know, someone donated you $150. He's like, I really appreciate it. He's a star on my board. Feel special. You should feel special now. And yeah, so Morgue official. These and they tend to twist information. They tend to, like he'll say, this particular book that I'm reading from is very difficult to get. You'll find it very difficult to get. And this is the only channel that you'll find this on. I'm going to read you a few passages. I'm going to read for a while. You'll take your sip of water. He'll read 3 passages. We might read for 2 minutes. And so that's the essence of it. It goes on to say other thing. That's the basic essence of it. What I make of it is this. I think there probably wouldn't be a major red flag or problem if he wasn't taking any money from people for it. But if he's taking a shitload of money from people for this, everything from super chats to memberships, you buy memberships, to a lot of other things. He says, I really appreciate it. This gets me by. This is how I make my living. Fair enough. But what's your content? Is your content rich? Is your content helping other people? I mean, he's the only, he never interviews people. He never ever has a guest on. It's always him. And that's fine. But what's the point of being a host? Well, to try to provide some, entertain. That's number one. To educate and to elevate or to inspire. So to be talking about something useful, talk about life, talk about things that you've been involved in, to somehow to entertain your audience. And he does have a couple of those qualities. He's taking a shitload of money from people. And those things that he's talking about, he said something a while back, I can't remember what it was, and I was like, I don't agree with that. I was like, oh, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. So, yeah, this guy, I thought I'd come down and say a few words on that. I have invested, what have I invested in this guy? Well, my time. I've watched a bunch of his videos. Have I ever contemplated giving him money? I have not ever contemplated giving him money. I've seen the, $200 donation. He says, look, I'm going to take this green biro today and write your name on the board, and you get your name written on the board in this green biro. Indeed. Look, before I saw this video on YouTube today, my purpose was to actually, I watched Bride of Frankenstein last night, and I had a few things to say about it, and then I saw the video up on YouTube today, and I thought, okay, hey, hello, I ran out of memory before, and with the camera, of course, not the old noggin, and let me put my light on. What light on? So, I was mentioning Bride of Frankenstein. I watched Bride of Frankenstein last night. I had intended to say a few things about it today. Very interesting movie. And so I saw the Morgue official exposed. Look, I thought of a couple of things upstairs while I was watching it back, because I'm putting it through a shortcut at the moment. People can lend their philosophy to things. Yes, I mean, that's like the purpose of YouTubers, is to lend their philosophy to things. I tell you what I think about things, and you can read a few passages, you can read 4 pages of a book, and then go off on a tangent about it, and express your point of view about it by all means. The thing that gets me is there's people giving him quite an amount of money, and then I think it's a bit patronising when he gets his text up and he writes their name up on the board and says, do you feel special now? But also the topic that he's talking about is sort of, I don't know much about Hyperianism at all, almost nothing. When I said just to put all that, some of the things that he says go over the top of my head. Not necessarily, some of them do, but I'm like, let me process that. Let me think about that. That's kind of interesting. I take him with a complete grain of salt. And But I think there could be, I think there could be gullible people out there, really gullible people out there who don't have too much going and are a bit lonely, and then and take him kind of very seriously, who take him, who do invest X amount of their time with that, and throwing him dollars. The other YouTube channels that I watch, one of them is Mr. Borland. I managed to watch a Mr. Borland video about once a week. I've seen all of his stuff, and the YouTube channels that I tune into are, I think a couple of them have Patreon, but they don't have live chat where they're taking money. They don't have that live chat where they're taking money. The Morgue official is, as far as I know, is most extreme case of where that he is actually having the live chat and taking X amount of dollars from people. So that ran out of memory before. Have you heard of Morgue official? What are your thoughts? And also about cult-like personalities, people, and YouTube is for entertainment, and if you can educate, you say a few interesting things about stuff. Midnight Charlie Man, Patrick, and thank you so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. What are your thoughts? What do you think down below? Have you heard of Morgue Official? There's probably a few other personalities out there on YouTube who are selling a philosophy, psychology. They're being a bit wrapped up in themselves, I suppose. You could say it like that, being a bit wrapped up in themselves. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Okay.